Great. Well, thank you for joining me this morning. As we're going through our training, walking through how to submit our documents for compliance review and getting paid, please let me know what questions you have. Please feel free to interrupt me, unmute yourself, or ask a question in the chat box. I don't think we'll take the full hour, but I'll spend a little bit more time on this process than I have in the past. And then we'll just go from there, because ultimately, at the end of the day, we are all in this business to get paid. So I want to make sure you can get your money as quickly as possible. So to get started, I'm going to create an opportunity, and I'm not going to go into the depths of opportunities because we did that on Tuesday, but I'm going to walk through the process, basically just bare bones. So that way, if you had a document or contract that you need to get submitted and need to get paid ASAP, you could just go through this very quickly. So I'm going to go to opportunities. Give it a second to load. Perfect. And then I'm going to create an opportunity up here in the top right-hand corner. So today I'm going to do a listing, myself as the owner, and then a client. I'm going to select Tony Stark. And then a listing name. So I'll just do we want to make the opportunity name the property address, the client's name, and then listing. And if you're working with a buyer, you would want it to be the property address, so you're under contract on, the client's name, and then buyer. Knowing that when you are working with buyers, you're not going to have that property address until you go under contract, and you can update the opportunity name at any time. So once you do go under contract, be sure to update the opportunity name to include that address. I'm not going to include any custom tags because, like I said, today we're really just want to do down and dirty to get this contract submitted for compliance. Estimated list price, we'll just do 300. Commission rate, I negotiated 6%, so I'm going to take 3%, and then opportunity phase, active, and we just do negotiations. Again, the opportunity phase and stage, as long as you have it listed as active, it's fine. So that way you can submit it for compliance review. So I'm going to click on create. And then here we have our opportunity. I always recommend that here for the property box here that you include that information, especially if you are going to be using DocuSign, because DocuSign will pull in this information directly out of Command. So I'll click Save. So there we go. So the next bit that we're going to do is go to the Documents tab. And this is where we are going to upload our documents. So I'm not going to go into a ton about DocuSign today because I have a training tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. But I am going to show DocuSign because there are a couple different ways that you can upload documents into Command. So if you do want to use DocuSign, or even .loop if you have that connected, you'd want to click on Start a Transaction. And by clicking on Start a Transaction within Command, you are then creating a room in DocuSign that will be linked to Command, and then you can upload documents to and from. So I'm going to sign in. And you can see now I have my room created. We're good to go. Now, if I wanted to start adding documents here that I'd send out for signature, I'd click on Add, then select DocuSign Forms. And then I would select GAR Forms. And then you would find the forms that you wanted to use. So we have our listing agreement, whatever we wanted to do there. So now let's pretend that we have a bunch of documents here in DocuSign. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go back into Command. And then what I can do is I can click on Add a File right here. And because I've connected to DocuSign, I have a source of documents, and DocuSign shows up, and I can click DocuSign. And what this is going to do is it's going to show every single document that I have in my room. Now today, it's pretty easy because I just have one document, which I have the GAR exclusive seller listing agreement. and it shows as a PDF. Let's say, for instance, this had been signed. I could select that document and click Assign. If you have folders set up in your room, so let's say you have an exclusive listing agreement folder, then you have your binding documents folder, you can select the folders here. So that way it makes it a little bit easier for you to find which document you want to upload. So now that I've selected DocuSign and I've selected the document from within DocuSign that I want to assign, click Assign, and that will upload that document to the system. So you can click on this link here to open up the document and see a preview of it. Now I want to upload some additional documents, but let's say, for instance, I want to upload these directly from my computer. Well, that is easy to do. So all you do is just come over here. All right, I'm going to attach my community association disclosure. I'm going to select manual because I'm going to pull that from my computer, and I'm just going to pull in a document from an old transaction that I have here, and I'm just going to drag that into that window, and it's going to upload that document. And for whatever reason, it's being very slow today. Usually it uploads much quicker than this. All right, let me cancel that. That's taking a long time. All right, we'll try the seller's property disclosure, and I'll do the same thing. I am just going to come over here and drag that into the folder, and then click Assign, and then uploads. Yeah, Bree, I don't know why our command is being so slow today. Maybe they're making some updates. The labs team is making some updates. So you can drag over each one of these documents one by clicking Add a File. Now, in the top, we have a couple different options, and one is Add Item, Add Comment, or Attach Multiple Files. So if you're uploading a ton of documents at once, you can always just click Attach Multiple Files. It makes things a lot easier. So you can open up this window, and again, you have 3 different options for where you can get your documents from. Manual means from your computer. DocuSign means that you'll upload the document directly from DocuSign, and then custom folders. So what I'm going to do today is I'm just going to drag over a couple different documents. Let's say we have our community association disclosure. Let me just try that one. I can just drag that over and put that there for the community association disclosure. And then I have my Rawls Group affiliated marketing, so I can just drag that there. And then I have my wire fraud prevention, and I can just drag that there. So now I'm able to upload all these documents at once and click Attach. Perfect. Pretty simple. Now, this is a listing. So when you have a listing, you want to submit your listing agreement and your seller's completed disclosures within 3 days of that listing going live. The sooner the better, because Lynn and Alita do have to review your listing agreement. To submit your listing agreement for compliance, click the Submit to MC button up in the top right-hand corner. This is going to be what submits those documents for compliance review. Usually they're really quick about reviewing documents. I would say on average, no more than a day. And you'll get a notification up here at your notification bell that your compliance event has been reviewed. See, compliance event has been approved. So they'll review it there. If there's any feedback from Lynn or Alita on your documents, they will include a note here next to where it says status and let you know what is wrong with that document that needs to be updated or corrected. Now, once you go under contract, or if you're working with a buyer, you'll want to come to the under contract folder over here in the left-hand side. And then here, we'll want to upload our purchase and sale agreement and corresponding documents. I'm going to show you, I'm going to do that too, just so you can, I want to show you another trick within Command. So let me come over here. I'm going to click Attach Multiple Files. And then let me drag over my purchase and sale agreement. The seller's property disclosure. Let's see what other ones we have here. Community association disclosure. Okay. I just want to pull over a couple of them here so you can see how easy it is to attach multiple files at once and then click attach. And now it's uploaded those documents. Now, obviously, I would need more documents to have a completed file. And you'll notice there are a ton of documents listed here. What you see here is a list of the most commonly used documents. Not every single one of these documents is required for your contract because, let's say, for instance, you may not have your listing or the home that your clients are purchasing may be built in 2000, so you don't have a lead-based paint exhibit because it's not relevant. So just know that if you don't have the document, it's not necessary for your transaction. But let's say you do have a document that you want to include here that isn't listed. So let's say you want to add an amendment, because if you scroll down here, you see there are no amendments. So let's say I want to add my amendment to address concerns. If you want to add that, click add item here. We'll give the document a name. So this will be amendment to address concerns. So just give it a name. Then we'll select document type, and there's a list here of all the different types that you can select. It's really not important which type you select. Select the one that's most similar to it, but it's not going to make or break it being reviewed or approved. So I'm going to click addendum, and then I'm just going to drag over a document here. I know this is not the correct document, but I just want to show you how easy it is to attach or add a document. So it's that easy. Now, once you have submitted all of your documents, once you have uploaded all of your documents for your binding contract, again, you'd want to click on Submit to MC. This is going to submit to Lynn and Alita for review. Once you have submitted your binding contract for compliance, now you need to create a green sheet, which is going to let the MCA office know that this transaction is getting ready to close within the next couple weeks. There are two ways that you can submit a green sheet. Well, let me rephrase it. There are two ways that you can notify the MCA office that you have a binding contract. One is a green sheet, and two is with the commissions tab within Command. I'm going to show you how to do a green sheet first, and it'll be really quick because I'm sure most people are pretty common with a green sheet since that's the process that we've been going through. So to submit a green sheet, we'll want to go to mykw.kw.com, our intranet. We'll go up here to technology and then click on green sheet. And then once you get here, we'll click here to create a new green sheet. Listing agent, I was told we always select no, now that we have Command, and is this a KW listing? No. And then you'll just go through this entire sheet and fill in the relevant information. All the fields that are required are labeled red. And you'll just go through each different piece of information and fill it in as accurately as possible. Once you have done that, you can click Submit to MC or MCA, and that will send a note to the MCA office that says, hey, Nick has just submitted a binding contract for this property. Make sure everything is in order and double check all the documents. That's a green sheet. If you have questions about how to submit a green sheet, let me know in more depth, and we can set up some time to go through it one-on-one. But what I really want to show you is how to use the Commissions tab within Command. If you want to submit a Commissions tab or submit your commission through Command, you're able to. In order to get this Commissions tab here to light up, you have to click on Offers, and you have to upload and create your offer here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click Add New Offer. And since, you know what, this is really just down and dirty, and I just want to get all this done, I'm just going to make this binding contract. That's what I'm going to call it. I'm going to create offer. The offer date will say, offer date was today. Our close date, we'll make this November 16th, so we'll give it a month. Parties, buyer, buyer one. For the seller, it pulls in that contact information directly out of the out of my contact list. And then I want to fill in all of the required information. If you have additional information, fill it in as well. Agent's name here. And then I'll click on terms. So we'll do cash amount. We'll do $250. We'll do financing amount. Oh, sorry, backwards. $50,000 for cash. And then financing amount of $250. Oh, excuse me. For a sales price of $300,000. The earnest money amount, you can either put 1% here and it will automatically calculate it for you, or you could type in the amount of earnest money and it will calculate the percentage for you. Option fee. This is if there's going to be any extra payment for an option here, probably is going to stay 0. Buyer will give notice of termination within blank days after contract. So this is going to be our due diligence in the state of Georgia. So we can just put, we negotiated 10 days. The seller will contribute X to a residential service contract. So if your seller is going to purchase a home warranty for them, you can put that price there. And then the seller will contribute X amount to settlement costs. So this will be closing costs. So let's say my client agreed to $6,000 in closing costs. Agent analysis. Since we're just doing down and dirty today, I don't need to do pros and cons. I've already talked to my client about that. So I'm going to click save. I have a quick question. If earnest money is, excuse me, if earnest money is made in payments, add the payment to the option fee field. No, so earnest money would still just go in the earnest money field. It wouldn't go in an option field. But I would double check with the MCA office on that, because they may have a specific process that they may want you to do if earnest money is paid, is made in payments. All right, so I'm going to go back to agent analysis, and then I'm going to click save. So now that I have my document or my offer set up here, I'm going to click on accept, because let's say we're already binding. I'm going to click accept. And as soon as I do that, the commissions tab now lights up. So now I can now click on commissions, and I can come over here and I can edit this information to make sure that it's all correct. And then I can use this to submit to the MCA office instead of a green sheet. So I'll come over here and I'll edit the general information to make sure that everything is correct. So contract date, we'll select today's date. Total units, so this will just be 1 unit. Contract date, close date. Oh, in terms of units, if you're on a team, then you may want to double check with your team, your rainmaker or the MCA office to see if you need to put anything differently in there if you share that commission with your team lead. Then click Save Changes. And then we come down here to Agent Edit, Agent Payment. I just want to double check everything here. Agent units, gross commission. So this is based on that 3% that I'm paying. Associate royalty and split. So it lets them know if any additional deductions. So KW Cares. So I like to donate $5 of each one of my commissions to KW Cares. It's a small amount, but over time it would build up. So when any of our agent colleagues are in need or in crisis, there's that group of money there for them to help. If you want to submit to KW Kids Can or Bold Scholarship, you can do that as well. And then if you want to add any extra payment options, so add item here, you can select if it's a bonus, a concession, deduction, inside referral, or outside referral. So if you need to include any of that information here, that's going to affect your commission, include that. And then you click on Save Changes. And then up here in the top right-hand corner, it'll show you your total commission of everything you're going to make. Once you are good with this, you can click on Submit. You can also add a note here if you want to. If you want to include a note for your the MCA office, you can do that here. Adding details or the transaction. Save changes. So once you do that, you're good to go. You click submit. That will submit this to the MCA office the same way a green sheet would. However, there is a couple pieces of information that are not included on the commissions tab that you need to fill out an additional form for, so that way Kyle and Becca know exactly what it is, or what those fields are. So I have this bookmark, and this is going to be this power form here. So if you are submitting this compliant or submitting your commissions tab, please let me know when I can send you this form. And this is going to send the additional information to Kyle and Becca. So you fill in your full name here, your email address, name, offer, notification, and then email, and then begin signing. And this is going to pull up a DocuSign form that you don't have to do anything. You don't have to go into DocuSign. This link will automatically set it up for you. Continue. So you just fill this in. And so you put in your address of the listing, your binding date, if KWFA is holding the earnest money or not, the holder of earnest money. So let's do Harry Norman. Easy. Now, this is where the information is very important. We need the FMLS and Georgia MLS number. So we are FMLS. We are required to run this through FMLS. So we'll want to include that FMLS number here. If we're paying a referral fee, yes, the referral amount. And then we'd want to sign it and include any additional comments here. And this will send directly to Becca and Kyle, and then you'll be good to go. So you will have submitted that contract to the MCA office. And now I just realized that my command screen has gone away. So I'm going to log back into command.
Nick, may I ask a question?
Yes.
So is this, so we can either do this through the green sheet or we can do it through command?
That's correct.
So if we fill it out, I want to know both ways, but if I've already filled out everything for this sale on my green sheet when I set up the contract, am I set?
Yeah, so if you have filled out the green sheet, once you go binding, then you do not have to use the commissions tab, and you do not have to fill out that additional DocuSign form.
So what do we do? Just walk into the office and hand them the check from the closing?
Yeah, so if you've submitted your green sheet, you're good to go. They'll have notification. You will have, you'll know that the MCA office has received it, because if you go into documents, you'll come in here and there'll be a custom folder and it will show MCA docs.
Okay.
And they'll have your disbursement authorization, your preliminary disbursement authorization in that folder.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yeah, so it's that easy. Yeah, once you submit that green sheet, you're good to go.
So if you use the green sheet, do you still have to send in this other one from DocuSign?
No.
Okay.
Because
what I find interesting, Nick, is the fact that we've been told we have no choice but to do the green sheet. So if we filled out the green sheet, I'm not sure I understand why we need to do this through command.
So
we have to do the green sheet.
So, okay, so my understanding, and you know, I might have been told something differently, is that, no, this is great, let's have a conversation about it, is that we have the option of doing a green sheet or the commissions tab. That being said, the commissions tab doesn't include all that information that the green sheet does. So I know the MCA office prefers the green sheet, which is why if you use command in the commissions tab, you then have to submit that additional document with the Georgia MLS, FMLS number, and the referral information. The long-term plan for command and Keller Williams as a whole is that everything will be done within command, and we would get rid of the green sheet. But because of the information that the MCA office needs is not in the commissions tab, That's why we're still using green sheets at the moment. So that's why I find it important to share with you both ways to do this, because there will come a time, and I don't know when, we will only be using the commissions tab in Command. Does that answer your question?
I'm good. Makes sense to me.
Okay.
And I wish it wasn't the fact that we had to learn one versus the other, but
Yeah.
prepared.
So I will say this, if the MCA office, if Kyle and Becca have told you use green sheets, then I would recommend continue to move forward with green sheets. It's going to be a lot easier. But I do think it's important to know how to do it within Command. And I've submitted contracts using both personally, and they both were fine and easy. One thing I do want to point out to you, so let's say you have a contract and it goes binding and then terminates. Well, if you are using a green sheet to submit for compliance, or sorry, for MCA office, you can come into Command, and within the under contract folder, you can come here to where it says under contract, and you can click add version. And what that is going to do is it's going to create a version 2, and you can rename this if you want to, and it's going to blank out all those documents. So you would then be able to upload your new binding contracts here and submit this to the MCA, or submit this to Lynn and Alita for review. But you're only able to do this if you use the green sheet, because if you decide to submit your commission tab here, for whatever reason, if you submitted a commission through Command, you are unable to then create a new version of your binding document, of your under contract folder. You would then have to create a whole new opportunity with the new contract, which is kind of a pain in the butt. At the moment, Labs doesn't have a workaround or a solve for that, but that is something that I want you to be aware of. Does that make sense? All right. So now that we have created our opportunity, we've uploaded our documents, we've looked at both green sheets and the commissions tab, and I've showed you how you can create additional versions of your under contract folder in the event that something terminates. Now, the last part of getting paid is deciding if you want to get a pay at close, or if you want to do a traditional receive a full check from the closing attorney and then get paid a couple days later. I don't know about you, but I love a pay at close. I love to just be able to walk away from that closing and go straight to the bank and deposit my money. If you decide you want to do a pay at close, those documents are in DocuSign. So I'm going to go back to my DocuSign tab, and the pay at close document is within the envelopes because it's a template. It's a document that the MCA office has put together for us. So I'm going to go to envelopes. I'm going to create a new envelope here. And I'm going to name this pay at close. I'll scroll down to add documents to the envelope, and I'm going to select use a template. Give this a second to load. I'm going to click shared with me. It is also being a little slow today, but sometimes DocuSign is slow. Just give it a second, it will load. And then I'm going to scroll down here to the pay at close. We have two different options, pay at close for multiple transactions or pay at close for a single agent, or multiple agents or single agent. So I'm going to select single agent and click add selected. Come down here to add recipients. I'm going to select pre-tagged roles. Agent, I'm going to select myself and then click add selected. And since I'm just sending this to myself, I'm not going to put a message on here. I don't need to do that. And then I'll click next. So I would just come through here and fill in this information. Now, you have two different options. You could fill this information here. So property address, I could just start typing it in here, 1234 Main Street, Atlanta, Georgia, 30342. Closing firm's legal name, Campbell and Brannon. You could do all that here. Or you could send it to yourself and fill it in the signing page. It's personal preference. You can do either or. So I'm just going to fill in that information here, and then I'm going to send it to myself because I want to show you the difference. It's pretty easy, so I'm going to click send. All right. So now I'm going to come here, back into the envelope tab, and I'm going to click sign. Click continue. And now I can just fill in all this information here. So date of closing, I can select November 16th. Does Keller Williams have the earnest money? No. Final price, 300,000. Amount, FMLS amount. No, I don't need to pay this here. Outside fee, no, no, no. Comments, no comments. Sign, I guess this is requiring me. Amount, are there other agents now? I don't know why it says an amount, but I'll just fill this in. So 1,000, 1,000 or 10,000. Initial, fill in, amount. I'm having trouble with this today. It is not letting me finish. All right, so here we go. Now we can click finish. Okay, so I'm not allowed to use characters in the final price. So I'll click finish. That was unnecessarily difficult. So now I've completed that document, and then I can come over here to documents. I have my sign pay at close. I can download this, and then I can email it directly to Becca and Kyle at the MCA office and let them know I have a new pay at close for this transaction here. And you'll be good to go. So that pretty much is the process of uploading and submitting your documents for compliance, submitting the green sheets or commissions tab, and then doing a pay at close. Any questions on anything we talked through this morning? Pretty simple process, but a very important one. Any questions? Anything I can show you again? Anything I need to clarify? All right. Well, if there are no questions, we are done. We walked through everything this morning, so thank you for joining me. As you are going through and filling out your paperwork, please let me know what questions you have, and I'm always here to help.
Thank you as always, Nick.
Thank you.
Thank
You're
you
very
so
welcome.
much.
Have a good one.